What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Video Homicide, back with day 7 of the 31 Days of Horror here at Video Homicide. I'm very excited to talk about this next film. It's a sequel, and I've been ranting and raving about the importance of films without sequels, this and that. But this movie's just too goddamn good. It's just so damn good, and that film is Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects. This is a great DVD. I never owned it on DVD before, and it's packed with all these good special features like the unrated director's cut of the film, which I had seen, an audio commentary with Rob Zombie. There's a second audio commentary with Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, and Sherry Moon Zombie. There's bloopers. There's a bunch of other stuff. There's deleted scenes, okay? And that was one of the, things I was most excited about this film with watching was these deleted scenes, because I'm such a fan of this film. And, I wasn't disappointed. I could see why some of the scenes were taken out, but some of them I thought were pretty good. Like, there's this whole interaction before, the three from hell sort of show up at Sid Haig's brother's house, played by Ken Foree. I forget the guy's name in the film. Charlie. They show up at Charlie's house, or like kind of, little community commune where out front Michael Berryman is sitting there with his buddy, and they're kind of bullshitting back and forth, and then the three from hell show up, and there's like this little bit of like back and forth, and that's when you are, shown that Sid Haig and Ken Foree are brothers in this film, sort of like how me and my brother, like, cause like him being black and me being white, like it's like it's cool. I like that, and I like the whole interaction when Ken Foree and Sid Haig finally see each other, and they put on this charade in front of Baby and Otis, and he points like a shotgun, and it ends up being like a water pistol. Always love that scene. But let's get into the story of this film, because I do think it is one of the best Rob Zombie films. I think that Lords of Salem is a really good one as well. I think it's probably a tie for me for Devil's Rejects and Lords of Salem. And I know a lot of people have their own opinions on those movies, but, this is what I love. So basically, following the events of House of a Thousand Corpses, you have Otis and Baby at their house, and the home is being raided by the police. So it's being led by this asshole, the new sheriff in town. Not like the Sheriff Wydell. This is the, or maybe it is Sheriff Wydell. Yeah, okay, so Sheriff Wydell's played by William Forsythe. In the previous film, Tom Towles played his older brother. So, he's got like his own little bit of personal revenge to take out on this, but he's super religious and all this kind of stuff. We'll get into that a little bit later, but the house is raided, and in turn, Rufus is killed, and Mama is taken into police custody while Otis and Baby escape. And there's like this whole sort of, I like how Rob Zombie explains it in the commentary. He says like he didn't want to do the same shot twice in the opening segment. He said he wanted to have like this sort of Waco, Texas feel, like swarming or raiding, and like it looks so fucking good. And when he said that, I had to rewatch that entire scene just to see if I could catch a secondary shot that was reused. But no, it's well done. It's well shot. Like, a lot of this movie is shot via handheld, which I'm a fan of. Like, maybe a couple of years ago, if you would ask me, I would have said no. But now I love how handheld looks. And I love the way that the opening scene of this film takes place. I even love, there's like that transition from being outside in the shootout and then being inside in the shootout, and it like takes a whole different kind of form. And I really like the way that he uses, all of the, creepiness of this house, even though it's not the same house from the other film, but still it just looks dirty and disgusting, and it's really effective. So now that Otis and Baby are on the run, they got to warn Captain Spaulding, who it turns out to be Baby's father. And Otis kind of just fits into this film as like a friend of the family sort of thing that was kind of like adopted in, more or less. Like, he's not an official blood member of this family, but they warn Captain Spaulding, who's having like this fucking dream where he's banging Ginger Lynn, the porn star, who I actually met at Shockstock a few years ago. And he like wakes up, and he's really beside like this chick, like this big chick, and he's got like a shit stain in his underwear and all that. Like, and like that painting of the clown. Like, one thing Rob Zombie does, and I don't think anybody could deny, is like his sets, and like everything about the films, like they just look so cool, And I know that there's like this fucking like I don't know if it's 40 or 25 minute long video on YouTube about like how Rob Zombie ruined the Halloween franchise and all this nonsense and stuff. But I don't agree with any. I like that YouTuber to some degree, like the analog archivist. But I don't agree that he ruined the franchise. I would say that some of the, earlier sequels ruined the franchise, in my opinion. But let's not get into Halloween yet. So Sid Haig gets the call, saying that shit has hit the fan, and now he's on the run as well, and Wydell is looking for all of them, and he's scouring the streets. But they all end up meeting up at this hotel where there's this traveling band staying there, and I don't remember the name of the actor or the name of the character in the film, but the dude that was Clint Eastwood's buddy in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, not The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, for a few dollars more. I keep saying the wrong title. The film is Every Which Way But Loose. So his buddy in that film is like sort of running this traveling band, and you got Brian Posen, who was a voice of Jim from the show Mission Hill. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, but it's fucking awesome. And there's a few other people in there, like one of the girls from the Three's Company is in the film. Like there's Lou Temple, who comes up all throughout Rob Zombie flicks. But all these like hick, I call it not hick, like I think the Devil's Rejects are way more hick, but like all these kind of like country bumpkins, like they have no idea what the fuck's about to happen to them. And once the Devil's Rejects get into this hotel room and bodies start piling up, and very uncomfortable moments happen in this film, and it's almost hard to be like, yeah, I love this film, even though it's like filled with this stuff, but I love it. I think it's an effective, scary, fucked up, uncomfortable horror film, and we don't get movies like this that kind of really like push you onto the edge of your seat, like you get that feeling in your stomach. It's one of those kind of movies, very graphic, but a bunch of madness ensues at this hotel room. Otis takes two of the men out to dig up some guns that he buried, and he kills them out there, and it's very graphic. Even though like Rob Zombie like says in the thing, like it's more effective to show the faces of the people rather than actually show the actual knife going in, to the chest. So a movie like Halloween by Rob Zombie, knives are going into chests and you're seeing a lot of stuff, whereas in this one you're just kind of seeing like facial reactions, which I think is great because what's happening and it's all in your head, and it just adds to the spookiness, like without actually seeing the horrifying incident. But after they leave the hotel, they're en route to Charlie's to sort of seek refuge. And during all of that, Mama Firefly is in the police custody, and she's being interrogated by Wydell, and eventually she gets killed. And one thing I really like that's brought up is all these like photo albums, like these weird photo albums that have like, they're kind of like scrapbooks, and like there's a big page of Captain Spaulding, there's like a crushed cigarette on the page, like fucking balloon or whatever, just a bunch of weird looking stuff. But it's cool. Like it's almost like if that book was fully made, I'd love to flip through the pages, much like the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. But we get a lot of kind of little bit of banter between the three from hell, i.e. the famous Tutti fucking Fruity ice cream scene, where it's kind of like making these characters less horrific monsters and more almost relatable in a way. By the end of the film, like you're kind of rooting for them, whereas at the end of House of a Thousand Corpses, you're like, these people are fucking crazy. But they eventually make their way to Charlie's, and they get in, they have this crazy party. And also, I forgot to mention that Wydell has enlisted the help of Diamond Dallas Page and Danny Trejo, who play like these two kind of like, I think they call themselves the Unholy Two or something like that. They're like bounty hunters, and they're like super greasy. And one of my favorite lines in the film is when Diamond Dallas Page, they're standing there talking, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, and then the woman in the trailer says, "Hey, it's your mom," and he's like, "Oh, give me the phone. She owes me $6." Or something like that, or like $5, like something very minuscule. I've always loved stuff like that. But once they get to Charlie's commune, they have like this total crazy party, and they're doing dope, they're listening to tunes, they're drinking, they're having like a fucking great time. It's sort of like the last hurrah of the three from hell. And during this party, Sheriff Wydell shows up, or his two enlisted henchmen show up and steal the three, and they make it look like Charlie's in on it, and he kind of is in on it, but like later on in the film he has a change of heart, and then much like Dick Halloran from The Shining, he gets like an axe to the chest, which very cool. And I guess Ken Foree was upset with Rob Zombie that he got killed in this film, which I think is a fun little, tidbit piece of trivia. But I almost forgot to mention there's this little side scene where Charlie and Michael Berryman, they go to buy these chickens from this guy, and that's when they kind of get like the, Wydell comes along and says, hey, like, you make sure they're fucking there or we're going to kill you, or I'm going to arrest you. And it puts him in this very awkward situation. But the guy that they buy the chickens from, like, accuses Michael Berryman of wanting to bang these chickens, and then, like, is disgusted by it, but then goes into this whole thing about, like, how to do it. And it's fucking just, it's one of my dad's favorite scenes in the film, but nonetheless, they're captured by Danny Trejo, Diamond Dallas Page. Now they're in the custody of Wydell, and he takes them, and not to mention he's right off his fucking walker at this point. He's killed Mama Firefly, and he takes them back to the old house, and he's got them on the chairs, and he starts torturing them slowly, and he's getting more and more progressively drunk. He's getting wasted, and he's it's weird because like, this is where you start to feel bad for like baby Otis and Sid Haig, because like they're being tortured, and like, I don't know, it's weird that the way that he unfolded the story just makes us feel so bad for them. And once basically he frees baby, and Otis and Captain Spaulding are basically fucking like cheesing right there. They're almost dead, and he lights the house on fire. Now he's got baby out running. He frees her, and now he wants to like chase her, like hunt her down, like The Most Dangerous Game, like that book or short story, whatever it was. I remember reading it back in like probably, it was after high school. I went to an adult school for a while because I had to get some credits, but nonetheless, that story is really interesting itself. But, he's chasing her down. He finally gets to her, and he starts to strangle her. And Charlie actually makes his way back, tries to save her, gets the axe in the chest. And, just as baby's being choked out, like her final breath, Tiny, okay, like the older brother or maybe younger brother Tiny from the first film, comes along and saves baby, kills Wydell, and then he frees Otis and Captain Spaulding, and they all kind of get in the car. And apparently there was lines. Tiny had lines in the film, and I'm glad that Zombie took them out, because it's more of like just like a mutual understanding thing between Tiny and Otis, because Otis is behind the wheel, Captain Spaulding and baby are in the back seat of this convertible, and Otis says to Tiny, you sure about this? And Tiny kind of like gives like his little head nod, and it's a very powerful moment, because like, you look at the House of a Thousand Corpses, they're so fucking just disgusting people, but here there's like, it's like a family thing, you know what I mean? It's like saying goodbye to your brother, even though he says we'll come back for you, that's bullshit. And Tiny makes his way into the house, into the burning house, and I guess perishes in the house, because that's why he's so deformed, because he was burnt, right, like by the father, and that's explained in House of a Thousand Corpses. But now we got Otis, baby Firefly, and Captain Spaulding in this convertible driving down the highway. We get an amazing musical cue. We get the song Free Bird by, I believe, the band Leonard Skinner, and it's so fucking nice. And it's also like spliced in between like clips of when the family were like having sort of normal life, like laughing, and like there's even like a cool shot of like Captain Spaulding and Otis like arm in arm kind of thing, like buddy, and I think that's really nice stuff. And then of course, like during the course of this ride, they get stopped at this roadblock, and Rob Zombie puts it kind of cool, and I never really thought of it this way, but when Otis is giving the weapons to the people, like distributing the weapons around to have this final showdown with the police, he gives Sid Haig the quote-unquote good gun, being like this big shotgun, and it's almost like a way of like, respect, like he's giving like the oldest guy, the elder, the good gun, whereas he could have kept the shotgun. Like it made sense the way Zombie portrayed it in the commentary. I would highly recommend watching the commentary to this film if you are a diehard fan like myself. But the film ends in a violent, bloody shootout, and then the credits roll. And I love the fact that the first credit you see is rest in peace to Matthew McGrory, I believe was the name of the, Matthew McGrory, who played Tiny, who actually passed away. I think he was ill, and then he passed away, which is very, very sad. And I believe quite a few people from the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects franchise has passed away. So Grandpa passed away, Karen Black, who played Mama, passed away, Matthew McGrory, Sid Haig, Tom Towles. There might be one in there that I'm missing, but nonetheless, this is a fantastic movie with a great story, great acting, and I almost want to watch it again, but I think I'm going to hold off because movies like Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, those are movies I watch once a year, okay? But there's other movies that I watch multiple times a year, but I like to savor some of those important movies that I really love. I don't want to overdo it. Like I mentioned earlier with Videodrome, I watched Videodrome like a few times in a week recently, and now I'm like, okay, I guess I don't need to watch that for a while, but part of me kind of wants to watch it again for some reason. I just love this shit, man. So, yeah, if you have not watched the Devil's Rejects trilogy, definitely go ahead and do that. Do it in order because it's a cohesive story, you know. House, Devils, and then 3 from Hell, which I believe is underrated. I think I have it somewhere. I just got the Blu-ray not long ago. Where the fuck is it? Okay, this could take hours trying to find it. Like, I don't know if well, obviously you guys have noticed, you guys that watch my stuff, this wall behind me is a new shelf, okay? Because before that I was just using like these shitty kind of like things, you know, and like you can see how much space I'm saving, you know, which is awesome because I don't feel so congested in here anymore, and the shelf goes 5 deep, so I think I got like 40 feet of shelf in here, but definitely nothing's in alphabetical order. It's a mess. It's pissing me off, but hopefully I can get this all sorted out in alphabetical order, genre, whatever I end up doing. But I definitely appreciate you guys for watching 31 Days of Horror, and definitely stay tuned for the next episode. Leave a 666 in the comments, and with that being said, adios.